You see that huge crowd out there, you know, that last kind of speech you gave about just like, people are here because people really believe and love and hope in other people. I don't know, I cry a little bit.
What if everything you know about the Obama family is only scratching the surface? There's so much happening behind the scenes that most people have no idea about. From surprising rumors about Michelle's background to intriguing claims about Malia's real last name, this video dives into the wildest theories that just won't seem to disappear. Did Malia Obama actually reveal a huge family secret? Get ready, because we're about to take a deep dive into the most surprising stories surrounding America's most iconic family. Michelle Obama's gender was called into question. A persistent, baseless conspiracy theory claims that Michelle Obama is a transgender woman, an idea that's been circulated by various online platforms and conspiracy theorists. This rumor gained traction after comedian Joan Rivers joked in 2014, referring to Michelle as a man. Although likely intended as humor, conspiracy theorists latched onto the comment, pushing the notion that Michelle was born male, went by the name Michael, and later transitioned before marrying Barack Obama. On top of that, a manipulated image of a young Michelle with altered, more masculine features circulated on social media, even being shared by Wanda Freeman Barziza, the wife of a former Tennessee mayoral candidate. In 2019, a satirical website published a fake story stating that Michelle's mother had passed away and left everything to her son, Marian Robinson Obama. This hoax quickly spread as if it were the truth, and by 2022, it was still gaining traction, according to AP. The rumor resurfaced again in 2023. Podcaster Jason Whitlock fueled the fire, while Republican Omar Navarro took to X to ask his followers to retweet if you think Michelle Obama is really a man. Conservative commentator Terrence K. Williams also posted a poll asking, "Do you believe this rumor that Michelle Obama is a man?" And shockingly, 50% of respondents said yes. Proponents of this theory often point to Michelle Obama's height, muscle tone, and specific photos, sometimes altered or taken out of context, to suggest she was born male. They argue that her physical traits go beyond genetics and fitness, seeing them as proof of the claim. However, this view disregards the fact that many women, particularly athletes or those who work out regularly, can develop muscular builds naturally. Supporters of the conspiracy theory claiming Michelle Obama is transgender often circulate altered or out-of-context photos of her and Barack, supposedly taken before her transition. They point to certain images where Michelle's body appears positioned in a way they argue reveals a bulge, which they claim as evidence of male anatomy. These images, however, are typically edited or misrepresented, and the original, unaltered versions show no such detail. But why let facts get in the way of a persistent conspiracy theory? Despite being debunked multiple times by fact-checking organizations like Reuters and AFP, these doctored images continue to be shared among those who already believe the theory. Rumble, a video-sharing platform, has also contributed to the spread of this misinformation. According to Media Matters for America, Rumble promoted a video pushing this anti-trans conspiracy theory about Michelle Obama in its editor's picks. The video discussed the rumors in detail but offered no real evidence, instead suggesting that Michelle Obama's public life story is a complete fabrication. This theory also claims that Michelle Obama's supposed transgender identity was deliberately hidden to ensure Barack Obama's political success. According to this narrative, the American public would not have accepted a transgender first lady, so the Obamas allegedly went to great lengths to keep this truth concealed. Barack Obama's sexuality is also pulled into the mix, with conspiracy theorists suggesting their marriage is a facade designed to mask their real identities. The claim that Barack is secretly gay and Michelle is transgender is presented as evidence that their public personas are merely a carefully crafted illusion. Not only is this narrative baseless, but it also promotes harmful stereotypes about LGBTQ+ individuals and black families. Despite the complete lack of evidence, This conspiracy has persisted for years, largely because it taps into existing prejudices among its supporters. According to Newly Paul, an associate professor at the University of North Texas, the persistence of these claims is rooted in spite, sexism, and racism, issues that fact-checking alone can't seem to overcome. The far-right questioned Barack Obama's sexuality. In 2008, a man named Larry Sinclair made headlines by claiming that he was Barack Obama's former lover. According to Sinclair, he met Obama in 1999 in Chicago, and the two engaged in drug use and multiple sexual encounters. The allegations were quickly dismissed as false, but were seized upon by the far right. As The Nation reported, the story began to spread, with new sources adding outrageous details, including claims that Obama frequented a gay bathhouse with his former chief of staff, Rahm Emanuel. The controversy also gained traction through an old love letter Obama wrote in 1982 to his then-girlfriend. The letter included philosophical musings, but one line in particular was highlighted by critics. "I make love to men daily, but in the imagination," Obama wrote. "My mind is androgynous to a great extent, and I hope to make it more so until I can think of people, not women, as opposed to men." Despite the lack of evidence, the theory continued to circulate for years, even gaining renewed attention in 2023. That year, Tucker Carlson interviewed Larry Sinclair again, who repeated his claim of an affair with Obama and alleged that other men were involved but couldn't speak out because they had been killed on orders from Obama's campaign. The first children. The youngest Obamas have also fallen victim to fake news. As if questioning the First Lady's identity and the president's sexuality wasn't enough, conspiracy theorists have now turned their attention to Malia and Sasha Obama, questioning whether they are even the biological children of Barack and Michelle. In 2017, a satirical article circulated online, falsely claiming that Barack and Michelle Obama were not Malia and Sasha's real parents. As Snopes pointed out while debunking the story, the article humorously suggested that a man had filed a lawsuit claiming he was the girl's biological father. This fictional account alleged that he had donated the sperm used to conceive them. Despite being clearly satirical, the post was quickly shared as if it were true, with people online scrutinizing photos of the Obama sisters to prove they didn't resemble their parents. The bizarre conspiracy was further amplified by Alex Jones, who during a rant about Barack Obama's parenting, sarcastically claimed, "The word is those aren't even his kids." PolitiFact traced the origins of this rumor back to 2013. That year, a dubious blog post questioned, "Where are Obama's daughter's baby pics and birth records?" The author argued that the absence of these records was proof that Malia and Sasha had different birth parents, despite the fact that the Obamas had shared plenty of baby pictures on social media. Since then, the false claim has persisted, even becoming linked to the broader conspiracy theory that Michelle Obama was born biologically male. If you've wandered through certain corners of the internet, you may have encountered claims that Malia and Sasha were not actually born to the Obamas, but were instead adopted in a secretive plan to create the image of an ideal American family. According to this theory, the girls' supposed mystery origins were part of a calculated effort to shape the Obamas' public image. One popular version of the theory claims that the Obama sisters were adopted from Morocco. That's right. Morocco. In this story, the Obamas supposedly struck a deal with a struggling Moroccan family to adopt their daughters and complete their idealized family image. Why Morocco? Conspiracy theorists argue that it was a strategic choice, far enough away to make the adoption hard to trace, but not so remote as to seem suspicious. It's a stretch, to say the least, but as with many conspiracy theories, the story doesn't have to make sense to those who are eager to believe it. The Moroccan angle isn't the only spin on the adoption theory, though. Another version suggests that the girls were actually adopted from within the U.S., with the truth hidden behind sealed records and confidentiality agreements. Supporters of this theory often point to the lack of public records or pregnancy photos of Michelle as evidence. Conveniently ignored, of course, is the fact that as a high-profile family, the Obamas would have naturally kept many aspects of their private lives, especially surrounding their young children, out of the public eye. What fuels these adoption theories even more is the belief that Malia and Sasha somehow don't look like their parents. Now let's pause and think about this claim for a second, because it's based on some pretty shaky logic. The idea that children must resemble their parents exactly to be their biological children is not only scientifically wrong, but also ridiculously oversimplified. Genetics, as most people know, is far more complex than that. Kids inherit a mix of traits from both parents, and those traits can show up in all sorts of ways. But with conspiracy theories, it seems logic gets tossed out the window. To make it even stranger, some theorists have suggested that Malia's adoption was part of a bigger plan to groom her for future leadership. They argue that the Obamas, aware of the importance of their legacy, adopted Malia as part of a long-term strategy to position her as a future leader. In this version of the story, Malia wasn't just adopted as a daughter but as a political heir, carefully prepared from the beginning to one day carry on the Obama name. Even though Michelle and Barack Obama have both publicly said in interviews that they don't push their daughters toward a career in politics, some still believe the grand plan was already set in motion. But perhaps the strangest version of the adoption theory is the belief that Malia and Sasha aren't even human. Yes, you read that right. Some people actually think this. According to this wild theory, the Obama daughters are clones, created as part of a secret government project. The idea is that they were engineered in a lab using a mix of Barack and Michelle's DNA, with a few enhancements thrown in to create the ideal children. The fact that this theory exists at all really shows just how far some conspiracy theorists are willing to go. Apparently, the Obama family is now at the center of a covert cloning operation. In reality, the idea that Malia and Sasha were adopted is just a baseless conspiracy theory that's grown legs over time. It's been twisted and distorted to fit a narrative designed to undermine the Obamas, casting doubt on the legitimacy of their family. The persistence of these theories highlights the power of misinformation and how far some people will go to create and believe an alternate reality. As the rumors about the Obama daughter's adoption continue to spread, it's not surprising that some of these wild claims spill over into other areas of the family's personal life, especially Michelle Obama's journey to motherhood. The rumors surrounding Michelle's struggles with infertility and the couple's use of IVF to conceive their daughters have been distorted and sensationalized. Conspiracy theorists, eager to fit these personal struggles into their broader narrative of Michelle being transgender, have twisted this part of her life into a tangled web of gossip, lies, and unfounded claims. Michelle Obama has been candid about her struggles with fertility, openly sharing her experiences with the public. In her memoir, Becoming, she discussed the challenges she faced in becoming a mother, including her miscarriage during her first pregnancy. She wrote, "I felt like I failed because I didn't know how common miscarriages were because we don't talk about them. This experience ultimately led her to pursue IVF treatments, which helped her conceive both Malia and Sasha. However, this openness sparked one of the most persistent rumors, that Michelle's admission of using IVF was a cover for the claim that she couldn't have children because she was born male. This theory conveniently overlooks the fact that fertility issues affect many women, regardless of their gender identity. But for conspiracy theorists, this personal revelation has been twisted into supposed proof that Michelle Obama is not the biological mother of her children. According to this theory, the decision to have children through IVF wasn't just a medical choice, but a calculated strategy to maintain the illusion of a traditional family. The theorists claim that IVF was used as a cover story, allowing the Obamas to present themselves as a typical American family while hiding the supposed truth about Michelle's gender identity. These claims ignore Michelle's very real struggles, including her experience with loss and how she used her own journey to support and inspire others facing similar challenges. Rather than seeing her openness as a sign of strength, some have twisted it to fit their conspiracy narratives. They suggest her admission was part of a carefully planned story to distract from the so-called truth, a hurtful accusation with no basis in reality. Another angle that conspiracy theorists like to push is the idea that the Obamas used IVF, not just to have children, but to handpick the exact traits they wanted in their kids. This theory ties into the bizarre claims about Malia and Sasha being either adopted or genetically engineered. The idea is that the Obamas supposedly used advanced genetic selection techniques to ensure their children would have specific desired traits, almost like something out of a science fiction story. To make matters worse, some theorists have taken it a step further, suggesting that the IVF story itself was a strategic move to gain public sympathy and divert attention from the transgender rumors. They claim that by presenting herself as a mother who struggled with fertility, Michelle was able to shift the focus away from the more controversial aspects of her identity. But in the world of conspiracy theories, the truth is often overshadowed by the need for a more dramatic narrative. Michelle Obama's openness about her fertility struggles has been twisted into something far removed from reality, highlighting just how easily misinformation can spread and evolve. As these conspiracy theories continue to spread, it's important to remember that they're just that, baseless speculations with no real foundation. The truth about Michelle Obama's fertility struggles and the use of IVF is already well known, but for some, the allure of a more sensational story is too strong to resist. Amidst these ongoing rumors about Michelle's gender and the origins of her daughters, another development has stirred the pot even more: Malia's decision to drop the Obama last name. While this might seem like a simple personal choice to some, conspiracy theorists have seized on it, weaving it into their already elaborate narratives. But what exactly prompted Malia to make this decision? And why has it sparked such a frenzy of speculation? Malia Obama, born on July 4, 1998, has always been in the spotlight. From the moment her father, Barack Obama, made history as the first African-American president of the United States, Malia, along with her sister Sasha, became central figures in American history. Growing up in the White House, every aspect of Malia's life was under intense scrutiny, from her academic accomplishments to her personal style and, of course, her relationships. Every detail seemed to make headlines, often with sharp criticism or unwarranted attention. So when Malia decided to drop the Obama last name, it didn't go unnoticed. But the real reason behind her decision is far less dramatic than the conspiracy theories that followed. As she made the transition from life as the president's daughter to carving out her own path, Malia faced the challenge of stepping out of her parents' shadow. Attending Harvard, interning at prestigious organizations, and exploring her passion for film and media, Malia sought to be recognized as her own person, not just as Barack Obama's daughter. Many children of high-profile parents go through a similar desire for independence, especially when they're working to build their own identities and careers. When Malia Obama premiered her short film, The Heart, at the Sundance Film Festival, the Obama last name was noticeably absent from her set list. This move likely reflected her personal growth and desire to separate her achievements from her father's legacy. By using just her first and middle name, Malia Ann, she could focus on her own work without being constantly tied to her family's name. It was a way for her to carve out her own space, one where she could define her narrative in a world that has long associated her identity with her parents. However, for those who are quick to latch onto conspiracy theories, Malia's decision couldn't simply be about personal growth or privacy. Some people speculated that it was an act of rebellion against her parents, a sign that she was dissatisfied with her upbringing. Others suggested it was a strategic move to distance herself from the Obama name in order to make her mark in Hollywood, where rumors have swirled about her interest in film production. According to this theory, dropping the last name would help her avoid the Nepo baby label, giving her the chance to succeed on her own terms. It's important to note that name changes are actually quite common for people who want to redefine themselves, especially those who've grown up constantly in the public eye. But some conspiracy theorists have taken this a step further, suggesting that Malia's decision to drop the Obama last name is part of a much bigger plan. They argue that she was advised to make the change to protect herself from potential backlash or political fallout as she enters a new chapter in her life. According to this theory, the name change is a calculated move, one designed to distance her from any controversies tied to her parents' time in the spotlight. Some even go as far as to suggest that the Obamas themselves orchestrated the change to help Malia avoid the pressures of their legacy. In this version of events, Barack and Michelle supposedly encouraged her to drop the Obama name as a way of giving her the space to step out from under the constant comparison to her father, who continues to be a major figure in American politics and global affairs. As with many conspiracy theories, these ideas are more rooted in imagination than actual evidence. The reality is likely much simpler. Malia Obama, like many young adults, simply wanted to carve out her own identity. Dropping her last name was a way for her to start that process, to create space where she could pursue her passions and interests without the constant shadow of her father's historic presidency. Yet, despite this, her decision has given fuel to those who prefer to weave more unfounded stories. For those who already believe in other conspiracy theories about the Obamas, the idea that Malia's name change is linked to a deeper hidden truth about her family is all too appealing. To them, this decision isn't just about independence, it's seen as a clue, a piece of evidence that fits into their larger narrative. And that's when the speculation takes a darker turn. For most people, Malia's decision to drop the Obama name is simply about personal identity or career strategy. However, some conspiracy theorists believe it's a much bigger deal. They argue that this move is the first sign that the truth about the Obama family is starting to come to light, that the perfectly constructed stories are falling apart, and soon the world will learn the real story. To them, Malia's decision wasn't just a step toward independence, but a signal that she had uncovered a shocking secret, that she wasn't really Barack and Michelle Obama's biological child. While completely unfounded, this theory has gained traction in certain online circles. According to these rumors, Malia supposedly had a dramatic revelation about her true parentage, sparking an argument and a rift within the Obama family. The story goes that, after years of being in the dark, Malia allegedly discovered she had been adopted and that her real parents weren't the famous political couple. According to this unfounded theory, Malia's supposed discovery about her parentage is what allegedly led her to drop the Obama last name as a way to distance herself from the family she now believed had deceived her. As these theories tend to go, the story gets more elaborate and far-fetched. Some claim that Malia's real parents are Dr. Anita Blanchard, who helped deliver Malia and Sasha, and Martin Nesbitt, her husband, who are also close family friends, and the girls' godparents. These theorists suggest that Blanchard and Nesbitt had secretly agreed to give the Obamas children in exchange for a position of power. The rumor continues, proposing that Malia was brought into the family under a confidentiality agreement, with her true origins kept hidden from the public and even from her until she was old enough to understand. According to this narrative, Malia's alleged shock upon learning the truth left her feeling devastated and betrayed by the parents she had always known. Dropping the Obama last name, in this view, is her way of rejecting the identity she was given and an attempt to reconnect with her supposed true origins. Some conspiracy theorists have even gone as far as to claim that Malia has been in contact with her supposed biological parents, and that her decision to change her name was a step toward reuniting with them and embracing her real family. Others have taken the theory in a more dramatic direction, suggesting that Malia's true origins are tied to foreign powers or wealthy elites who supposedly orchestrated Barack Obama's rise to power and used Malia as part of a larger political alliance. Of course, these claims are completely unfounded. There is no credible evidence to support any of these wild theories, which are based on the belief that every detail of the Obamas' lives has been carefully crafted for public consumption. The truth is far simpler. Malia and Sasha Obama are the biological children of Barack and Michelle Obama. Any suggestion to the contrary is just more of the baseless speculation that has surrounded the family for years, despite the lack of any real evidence. Malia Obama's surprising, fake, pregnancy news. The rumors about Malia didn't stop there. Since leaving the White House, Malia Obama has done her best to stay out of the public eye. She graduated from Harvard in 2021 with a degree in visual and environmental studies and has started to pursue a career in Hollywood as a director. However, despite her efforts to stay low-key, she's still not immune to gossip. In fact, there have been numerous rumors claiming she's been pregnant twice, rumors that are, of course, completely untrue. The first round of pregnancy rumors started in 2014 when a hoax website falsely reported that a 16-year-old Malia was expecting her first child. The site even went as far as to publish fake quotes from Michelle and Malia, which many people fell for. The story spread quickly on social media and gained more traction when a fake Facebook account pretending to be Fox News shared it. Snopes debunked the rumor shortly after, but it resurfaced in 2022. This time, a satirical Instagram account posted a claim that Malia was pregnant by rapper Future. The caption read, "This news came as a shock to many as the relationship between Malia and Future was kept secret until now." As these rumors continue to circulate, they highlight uncomfortable questions about how we treat public figures and their families. The Obama daughters, who were just kids when their father was president, have had their lives closely watched by the public. Malia's decision to change her last name and the rumors about her pregnancy, issues that could simply be personal choices, have sparked intense speculation. This shows just how much pressure is placed on those who grow up in the spotlight. For some, Malia's name change isn't just a step toward independence. It's seen as a clue in a much bigger mystery that they feel compelled to solve. As with many conspiracy theories, the lack of proof is often viewed not as a sign that the theory is unfounded, but as further evidence of a cover-up, making the rumors even more compelling to those who believe in them. While these speculations continue to thrive in the echo chambers of the internet, the reality is likely much simpler. Malia Obama, like many young adults, is just trying to figure out who she is on her own terms. But to the conspiracy theorists, it's something much bigger, proof that the truth about the Obama family is finally being revealed. As these theories evolve, they often spawn even more elaborate speculations, with each new claim adding another layer to the story. With Malia's decision to drop her last name still fresh in the minds of those who follow these narratives, it's clear we haven't heard the last of these theories about her origins. In fact, this latest twist has only fueled more intrigue, paving the way for even more far-fetched claims to come. The revelation and Michelle Obama's emotional reaction. What happens when a mother hears something that shatters her heart? Michelle Obama recently had to face such a moment when her daughters shared something deeply personal. Known for her strength and resilience, the former First Lady found herself navigating emotions that many parents can relate to. But just how serious was it? Let's dive into Michelle Obama's reaction to her daughter's revelation. Michelle's daughters, Malia and Sasha, recently made headlines with something that deeply affected their mother. The girls, now grown and living more independent lives, shared how they had outgrown the constant public appearances with their parents. Michelle revealed that both Malia and Sasha are now living in Los Angeles. with Malia pursuing a career in the TV industry and Sasha attending the University of Southern California. This revelation was part of a larger shift, her daughters moving from childhood to adulthood, navigating their own relationships and embracing their independence. Michelle humorously reflected on how her daughters have grown up, joking about the shift from obsessing over pop bands like the Jonas Brothers to now bringing grown men home. Before it was just pop bands, now they have boyfriends and real lives, she laughed. Barack Obama also shared his own memories of their girls' childhood, fondly recalling the days when Secret Service agents trailed them on dates. He joked that the girls still have PTSD from the agents talking into their wrist mics and wearing sunglasses while they tried to enjoy a concert. Despite the humor, Michelle's feelings about this transition are a mix of pride and nostalgia. She spoke warmly about how much she cherishes the strong bond she has with Malia and Sasha and how proud she is of the independent women they've become. Michelle also opened up about how her approach to raising her daughters was shaped by her own mother's wisdom. Her mother's mantra was clear. She wasn't just raising kids. She was preparing them to be successful adults in the world beyond their family. Michelle adopted this philosophy when raising Malia and Sasha, focusing on teaching them practical life skills like making their own beds, driving, and nurturing compassion and independence. Despite the unique challenges of raising children in the spotlight, Michelle believes that this upbringing has played a key role in shaping the remarkable young women Sasha and Malia have grown into. Raising Sasha and Malia in the White House. Growing up in the White House may seem like a dream to many, but for Malia and Sasha Obama, it came with its own set of challenges. While the grandeur of the White House might appear magical, living there meant navigating the intense public scrutiny and high expectations that come with being part of a presidential family. Malia and Sasha were just kids when their parents took office. Malia was 10 and Sasha was 7 when they moved into the historic residence. The White House, as iconic as it is, isn't exactly a typical playground. It's a place where world-shaping decisions are made, with tight security, formal protocols, and constant attention. Yet, despite the monumental history around them, it became home for the Obama sisters. Within those walls, Malia and Sasha lived much like any other children. They went to school, had play dates, and enjoyed family outings. But their everyday lives were also marked by state functions, official dinners, and the ever-present Secret Service, making their childhood experience far from ordinary. Here's the twist. Despite the weight of their surroundings and the unique demands of being part of the first family, Sasha and Malia still had a surprisingly normal childhood. How was that even possible? It all came down to the way their parents approached parenting. Michelle Obama explained it best in an interview with Entertainment Tonight, saying, "We tried to normalize their lives as much as possible. It's the best we could do for them." This dedication to giving their daughters a grounded upbringing didn't start once they moved to the White House. In fact, it was clear long before that. Let's rewind a bit to January 5, 2009, when the Obamas were living in a house in the Kenwood neighborhood of Chicago. Their Chicago home was a spacious 6,400 square foot apartment, a far cry from the 55,000 square feet of the White House. But it wasn't just the size that made a difference. The White House isn't just a family home, it's also a place for hosting state events and carrying out presidential duties, which brought a whole new layer of responsibility to the family's life. Leaving their old home was no easy transition, and adjusting to life in the White House was a big change. But as you'd expect, the opportunities they had there were truly unique. Malia and Sasha traveled the world, met global leaders, and got to witness history firsthand. They were part of some iconic moments in American history, from seeing their father's inauguration to learning about the intricacies of diplomacy. In a recent interview, Malia shared how her time in the White House taught her the importance of building strong global partnerships. She also reflected on how watching their father sign historic laws gave her and Sasha a deep understanding of leadership's challenges and responsibilities. These experiences definitely shaped how they view the world, providing them with a global perspective few others their age will ever have. Now let's talk about Michelle Obama as a mom. In the beginning, there wasn't much information about how her daughters were adjusting, which led to some public speculation. However, over time, it became clear that Michelle and Barack's strategy was to keep their daughters' lives as private as possible. Michelle's influence on their upbringing was profound, and it's something Malia and Sasha have mentioned proudly in interviews. Growing up in the public eye was undoubtedly tough, but thanks to Michelle's determination, the girls handled it incredibly well. Despite all the media attention, Michelle worked hard to protect their privacy, focusing on creating a safe and supportive environment where they could grow and thrive away from the spotlight. Malia and Sasha managed to maintain a remarkable sense of composure and maturity, despite their limited public appearances. While their private lives were mostly kept out of the spotlight, there were occasional glimpses into their world. They had sleepovers, went on trips, and took exams just like any other teenager. Every so often, we'd catch a glimpse of them helping serve turkey on Thanksgiving or enjoying a game of football. There were also moments captured of them doing chores, heading to school, and navigating those typical teenage experiences. These glimpses of their everyday lives painted them as regular American teens, enjoying the simple pleasures of family time. And whenever these moments made headlines, they reminded the public that, above all, Malia and Sasha were just like any other kids. On top of that, they became known for their impeccable sense of fashion and grace at public events. Malia and Sasha have often credited their mom, Michelle Obama, for influencing their fashion sense. In an interview with People, when asked about their style, both sisters acknowledged Michelle as a major inspiration. They also gave a nod to their stylist, though their name wasn't mentioned. But Michelle's influence goes far beyond just fashion. She's been a role model to her daughters in countless ways. Through her, they learned the importance of kindness and humility, values that shaped how they treat others, whether at school or in other areas of their lives. Michelle also taught them to care about people, no matter their background, and that lesson has stayed with them. What's especially remarkable is how Michelle helped them develop confidence. She taught them to speak with poise in public and handle tough questions with ease. You can really see this confidence whenever they speak at events or in interviews. They come across as so mature and self-assured for their age. It's clear that Malia and Sasha are growing into exceptional young women, and people around the world are excited to see what they'll do as they continue to step into adulthood. How did Barack and Michelle Obama manage to balance their demanding roles with parenting? When Barack became president, one of his biggest concerns was how the job would impact Sasha and Malia. Despite his hectic schedule and constant travel, he and Michelle worked tirelessly to ensure that their daughters still had as normal a childhood as possible. They made sure to teach their girls the value of hard work and responsibility. Even though they had a staff to handle the household chores, Sasha and Malia still had their own tasks to do, just like any other kids. Michelle explained that this wasn't about punishment. It was about instilling in them the understanding that success requires effort. These everyday tasks, she said, played a crucial role in shaping their character and preparing them for the future. Another heartwarming aspect of the Obama family life was how they made sure Sasha and Malia were involved in family matters, despite living in the White House. The girls were always encouraged to voice their opinions during family discussions, and even though their suggestions weren't always followed, they were never excluded. For the Obamas, the White House wasn't just a place of power. It was home, and the family dynamic stayed grounded in love and togetherness. Barack Obama once shared with People that, despite the political weight of living in the White House, he and Michelle made sure Malia and Sasha could still enjoy the little everyday moments that make a house feel like home. He mentioned how the girls managed to organize play dates, attend school events, and even have family movie nights. While some parents might overlook their children's needs in the midst of a busy career, that wasn't the case for the Obamas. Despite the pressures of presidential duties, both Barack and Michelle stayed actively involved in their daughter's education. Michelle explained that they kept close communication with the girls' teachers to ensure they were staying on top of their studies. "We wanted to make sure our girls were thriving academically," she said. This commitment to their children's well-being was clear, even when it meant making sacrifices. Take, for example, the night of Barack's final State of the Union address on January 12, 2016. While the rest of the family was present for this historic moment, Sasha was notably absent. A White House official later confirmed that she had missed the event because she had an important exam to sit for that morning, showing just how seriously the Obamas took their daughter's education. The public's response was overwhelming, with social media filled with praise for the family. People pointed out that the Obamas didn't just talk about prioritizing education, they demonstrated it with their own children. It was clear they were giving Sasha and Malia a balanced, grounded upbringing. Michelle also gives a lot of credit to her mother, Marian Robinson, for helping raise their daughters in the White House. Mrs. Robinson moved in with the family in 2009, shortly after Barack's inauguration, because she felt that life in the White House would be challenging for Michelle and her husband. She also worried about the safety of her granddaughters. Michelle agreed with her mother's concerns, noting that having her mom around made a huge difference. It helped bring a sense of normalcy to Sasha and Malia's lives. Michelle wanted her girls to come home to a family atmosphere, knowing that some things would stay the same, even in the midst of such a hectic life. And it worked. Whether they were traveling internationally or having late nights away, Mrs. Robinson was always there for the girls. In an interview with People, Michelle Obama spoke highly of her mother, Marian, admiring her incredible work ethic even in her later years. Marian herself joked, saying, "I talked them into letting me do my own laundry." Despite living in the White House, Marian insisted on doing her own laundry and even took the time to teach Sasha and Malia how to do theirs as well. Michelle also shared that when they first moved into the White House, there was a bit of chaos. Barack and Michelle made the decision to treat Sasha and Malia like regular kids, which meant letting them do their own chores. This was a big shift for the staff, who were used to the formalities and strict rules that came with presidential life. Some of them even worried that this change might cost them their jobs. It was a challenging adjustment for everyone, but over time, the staff began to see Sasha and Malia not just as the president's daughters, but as members of their extended family. They made sure the girls had moments of privacy away from the constant cameras and reporters. While we've focused a lot on Michelle's role in raising their daughters, it's equally important to acknowledge Barack's influence. According to Malia and Sasha, their father was always there to teach them. "We never stopped learning from him," they said. They admired his intelligence and strong principles, and often turned to him for advice on personal issues as they grew up. Barack frequently spoke about the values his mother instilled in him: kindness, empathy, and the importance of helping others. These were the same values he passed on to Malia and Sasha. Michelle once shared a moving story about her daughter's first day at their new school in Washington. She recalled how, at just 7 and 10 years old, they got into the black SUV with armed security, leaving her feeling a little lost. The image of their faces pressed against the windows stayed with her, and she found herself thinking, "What have we done?" Reflecting on the moment, she said, "It was a crucial moment for me as I realized that their time in the White House would profoundly shape their future." In addition to supporting their daughters in their academic pursuits, Michelle and Barack also encouraged them to follow their passions. Barack always emphasized the importance of passion and intellectual curiosity, and this approach extended to his daughters as well. He wanted them to discover their own paths in life and do what they loved. He often said that a life filled with opportunity should be lived in service to others. a value that Malia and Sasha have carried with them into adulthood. Michelle also shared her thoughts on these values, emphasizing that their daughter's journey was about more than just academic achievement. It was about growing into kind, selfless individuals who would become great people in all aspects of life. Many have wondered why Michelle Obama, despite her high-profile public life, chose to shield her daughters from the media. What made her value privacy so much? To understand this, it's important to take a closer look at her life. While Michelle is known as Barack Obama's partner, she's also made her own mark as a strong, supportive figure in his life, a role her husband has often publicly acknowledged. We first got to know Michelle as the wife of a charismatic senator from Illinois, but it didn't take long to realize she was so much more than that. A few years later, she became the wife of the 44th President of the United States. Michelle Obama is an accomplished lawyer, a passionate public servant, and a strong advocate for social causes. Her support during Barack Obama's presidential campaigns was remarkable, and she continued to stand by him throughout his presidency, showing her unwavering commitment to both her husband and their marriage. But there's so much more to Michelle's story. She's also a loving mother, deeply invested in raising her daughters with strong values. In a recent interview, Michelle became emotional when her daughters praised her, smiling through tears as Malia and Sasha called her the best mom in the world. The girls shared what they admired most about her. Malia highlighted her mother's charisma and the way her powerful speeches have inspired her, while Sasha expressed how much she's captivated by her mother's elegance. "I am always fascinated by my mother's elegant pictures on magazine covers," Sasha said. Michelle has achieved so much in her life, making her a true inspiration, even to her daughters. "I think this is why people are so eager to learn more about my personal life," she once said. Throughout her time as First Lady, Michelle remained somewhat of a mystery. But when her memoir, Becoming, was released in 2018, it felt like a gift to so many. Before that, most people only knew snippets of her story. In Becoming, Michelle took us on a journey through her early experiences. She opened up about the highs and lows of both her personal and professional life and how she managed to balance her public duties with her personal dreams. The memoir also delves into the joys and challenges she faced as an ambitious woman. Those who have read it often speak about how packed it is with valuable lessons on self-empowerment and career growth. Michelle also shed light on the role her strong family relationships played in helping her achieve her goals. She spoke openly about the difficulties and rewards of being a working mother, as well as the expectations she faced as First Lady. Perhaps the most anticipated part of the book was her honest reflection on the challenges and triumphs in her marriage. One of the most poignant moments in Michelle's memoir was her reflection on the simple things she longs for. "I sometimes wish I could walk down the street unnoticed or enjoy a peaceful lunch without prying eyes," she wrote. These vulnerable thoughts were incredibly relatable, allowing readers to connect with her on a deeper level. As expected, Becoming was met with an overwhelming response. It was the book that so many had been waiting for, quickly becoming a bestseller just weeks after its release. Reports even surfaced that the book had been translated into multiple languages, resonating with readers around the world. Michelle's story was deeply personal, touching on the aspirations and challenges faced by so many people. She openly admitted to her fears about not being a good wife and mother, and she shared the struggles she had with low self-esteem and dealing with people who often disagreed with her views. Many readers have praised Michelle for her honesty, noting how refreshing it was to hear such candid reflections. What makes Becoming even more compelling is that it offers a glimpse into Michelle's future, not just her past. While the book concludes with her departure from the White House, it's clear she's still thinking about her next steps. She speaks about her ongoing commitment to self-improvement and the journey of self-discovery that continues to shape her life. Malia and Sasha are also forging their own unique paths. Malia has always had a strong interest in the arts, particularly film and dance, and her parents have been incredibly supportive of her passions. After graduating from high school in 2016, Malia took a gap year to explore her interests. During that time, she interned at the Weinstein Company and worked on the set of the HBO series Girls. Malia has said that these experiences gave her invaluable insights into the film industry. She later attended Harvard University, where she earned a degree in visual and environmental studies. Sasha has taken her own path as well. After graduating from Sidwell Friends High School, she began her college journey at the University of Michigan, eventually transferring to the University of Southern California, where she graduated with a degree in sociology in 2023. After leaving the White House in 2017, the Obama family began a new chapter in their lives. But what came next? The Obamas continued to champion the cause of education. Believing that education is a fundamental human right, they launched the Obama Foundation, which includes scholarship programs aimed at improving access to education for young people around the world. Malia Obama surprised many when she decided to take a gap year, especially given her family's strong focus on education. But why did she choose this path? And what did it mean for her future? For Malia, her gap year wasn't just a break from school. It was a time for self-discovery and growth. She saw it as an opportunity to explore who she is, what she wants to do, and how she fits into the world. Taking a gap year is less common in the U.S. than in other parts of the world, so Malia's decision drew a lot of attention. For her, it was a chance to step away from the comforts of life in the White House and experience the world from a fresh perspective. One of the key moments of her gap year was her internship in the film industry. While she had already done a summer internship on Girls back in 2015 during her gap year, she dove deeper into the industry with an internship at the Weinstein Company in New York. There, she gained valuable hands-on experience, learning everything from script writing to editing the final cut of a film. This experience was a pivotal moment for Malia and likely played a major role in shaping her career direction. By stepping away from the typical academic path, Malia was able to gain experiences and lessons that go beyond what you'd find in a classroom. It was a chance for her to explore who she really is, outside of her role as the first daughter. This was especially important as she prepared to transition from the comfort of life in the White House to the independence of college. Unsurprisingly, Malia's decision to take a gap year sparked a lot of discussion in the media. The idea of taking a break from school led to debates across the country. Educators, parents, and students weighed in, sharing their thoughts on the pros and cons. Some highlighted the valuable life skills Malia could gain, while others worried she might fall behind academically. As Malia prepared to start at Harvard, everyone was eager to see how her gap year had influenced her. Malia shared with Entertainment Weekly that her internships, travels, and time spent reflecting on herself helped shape her decision to pursue a degree in visual and environmental studies. Now a Harvard graduate, she's making strides in the film industry. Malia recently worked on the Amazon series Swarm alongside Donald Glover, and she's even working on her own short film. Producers are starting to take notice of her talent, and it's clear she's got a bright future ahead in film. Janine Neighbors, co-creator of Swarm, praised Malia's dedication, calling her an incredible writer who brought a lot of value to the project. She's really dedicated to her craft, Janine told Entertainment Tonight. On the other hand, Michelle Obama's post-White House journey has not been without its challenges. She has faced a fair amount of public criticism, with every word, action, and even her fashion choices being heavily scrutinized. One notable moment was when she said, "For the first time in my adult lifetime, I am really proud of my country." Some media outlets quickly took this as unpatriotic. Michelle later clarified, explaining that she was proud of how Americans were actively engaging in politics. This was just one example of many where she had to clarify her statements to prevent misinterpretation. Michelle's unwavering commitment to her principles helped her rise above the controversies she faced. Her iconic quote, "When they go low, we go high," became a powerful way she navigated constant scrutiny and criticism, always choosing to respond with grace and integrity. Life outside the White House has brought its own set of stories for the Obama family. During a virtual appearance on Conan O'Brien's talk show, Michelle shared a heartfelt story about her daughters during the coronavirus lockdown. Like many families, the Obamas spent more time together at home than ever before. While it allowed for moments of joy and bonding, it also came with its own set of challenges, especially for parents with teenagers and young adults. Michelle talked about how, at first, the family time felt great. "At first, it was great to have all this family time," she said. "But as time went on, Malia and Sasha started to feel a bit sick of spending so much time with us." She went on to explain how they understood their daughter's feelings and had to find a balance to manage the situation. On May 31st, 2024, the Obamas experienced a heartbreaking loss when Michelle's mother, Marian Robinson, passed away at the age of 86 in Chicago. In a heartfelt interview, Michelle shared how deeply her mother meant to her, saying, "My mom was my rock and my best friend, a guiding light throughout my life." She also spoke about the impact of her mother on Malia and Sasha, noting how much they would miss their grandmother, who had always played such an important role in their lives. Even years after leaving the White House, the Obamas continued to inspire millions through their example and the relatable stories of their family journey. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to click on one of the boxes on your screen to watch more content like this. I'll see you there.